Chapter 21. David went to speak with the priest, Ahimelech and Nob. The priest came out trembling to meet David and said, "Why did you come here alone? I am here on the king's business. He ordered me not to let anyone know what he sent me to do. That's why I told my soldiers to meet me at a certain place. Now tell me, what do you have to eat? Give me 5 loaves of bread or whatever you have." "I don't have ordinary bread, only sacred bread." "Well, you can take it." "If your soldiers have kept themselves from sexual relations, of course they have. We haven't been with any women. My men always keep themselves pure when we go out on a common mission. Even more now that we are on a special mission." Then the priest gave David the sacred bread, because they only had the bread that had been offered to the Lord God. This bread had been taken from the sacred table and replaced with fresh bread. Now it happened that Doeg the Edomite, who was the chief of Saul's shepherds, was there that day because he had to fulfill a religious duty. David said to Ahimelech, "Do you have a sword or a spear to give me?" "I didn't bring my sword or any other weapon because of the king's orders. I left in a great hurry. I have the sword of Goliath, the Philistine, whom you killed in the valley of Elah. It is behind the priestly mantle, wrapped in a cloth. Take it if you want. It is the only weapon here. There is no better sword than that. You can give it to me." Then David left, fleeing from Saul, and went to find Achish, the governor of the city of Gath. The city authorities said to Achish, "There is no doubt that this is David, the king of the land of Israel." About him the women sang while they danced. Saul killed 1,000, David killed 10,000. David paid attention to their words and became very afraid of Achish. So in front of all of them, he pretended to be crazy. When they tried to grab him, he began to act like a madman. He scratched the gates of the city and let saliva run down his beard. Then Achish said to his officials, "This man is crazy. Don't I already have enough madmen around me? Why bring another madman into my own house to annoy me with his madness?" Chapter 22. David fled from the city of Gath and went to a cave near the city of Adullam. When his brothers and the rest of the family heard that he was there, they went to be with him. And all the men who were in difficulties or in debt or dissatisfied also came, and David became their leader. There were with him about 400 men. Then David left there. He went to Mizpah in Moab and said to the king of that country, "Please, let my father and my mother come here and stay with you until I know what God will do for me." David left his parents with the king of Moab, and they stayed there while David was hidden in the fortress. The prophet Gad went to the place where David was and said, "Do not stay here. Go at once to the land of Judah." Then David left and went to the forest of Hereth. Saul was in Gibeah, on a hill, sitting under a tree with his spear in hand. All his officers were around him, and they told him that David and his men were in a certain place. Then Saul said to his officers, "Listen, men of the tribe of Benjamin, do you think David will give you fields and vineyards and make you captains and lieutenants in his army? Is that why you are making plans against me? None of you told me that my own son made an agreement with David. No one cares about me. No one told me that David, one of my own men, is right now looking for an opportunity to kill me. And it was my own son who turned him against me." Doeg, from the country of Edom, was there with Saul's officers and said, I saw when David went to speak with Ahimelech, son of Ahitub and Nob. Ahimelech asked the Lord God what David should do. He also gave David food and the sword of Goliath, the Philistine. Then King Saul ordered Ahimelech and all his relatives, who were also priests in Nob, to be brought to him. And they went to the place where he was. Saul said to Ahimelech, "Listen, Ahimelech, at your service, sir. Why did you and David join together to make plans against me? Why did you give him food and a sword and ask God what he should do? Now David has turned against me and is waiting for the time to attack me. David is the most faithful officer the king has. He is your own son-in-law, captain of your personal guard, much respected by all the authorities of the country. Is this the first time I ask God what David should do? Of course not. The king should not accuse me nor anyone in my family of making plans against the king."
I know nothing about that.
"Ahimelech, you and your relatives are going to die." Then he said to the guards who were nearby, "Kill the priests of the Lord God." They joined with David and didn't tell me that he had fled, even though they knew it the whole time. But the guards refused to raise their hands to kill the priests of the Lord. Then Saul said to Doeg, "Kill them, you." And Doeg killed them. That day he killed 85 priests of God. Saul also ordered the killing of all the other people of Nob, the city of the priests. Men and women, boys and little children, cattle, donkeys, and sheep, all were killed. But Abiathar, one of the sons of Ahimelech, escaped and went to the place where David was. He told him that Saul had killed the priests of the Lord God. Then David said to Abiathar, "That day, when I saw Doeg there, I knew that he would not fail to tell Saul everything. Yes, I am guilty of the death of all your relatives. Stay with me and do not be afraid. Saul wants to kill both of us, but with me you will be safe." Chapter 23. David heard that the Philistines were attacking the city of Keilah and stealing the wheat that had just been harvested. Then he asked God, the Lord, "Should I go attack the Philistines?" "Yes, attack them and save the city of Keilah." But David's men said, "We are already afraid to stay here in Judah. How much more to go to Keilah to attack the army of the Philistines?" Then David asked the Lord God again, and he answered, "Go to Keilah and attack, because I will give you victory over the Philistines." Then David and his men went to Keilah and attacked the Philistines, killed many of them, and took their flocks. And so David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. At the time Abiathar, son of Ahimelech, escaped and went to join David in Keilah, he brought the priestly garment. When Saul was told that David had gone to Keilah, he said, "God has delivered David into my hands." He went into a city surrounded by walls with strong gates, and so he fell into a trap. Then Saul called all the soldiers for battle in order to march against Keilah and surround David and his men. When David knew that Saul was planning to attack him, he said to the priest Abiathar, "Bring here the priestly garment so we can consult God." Then David said, "O Lord, God of Israel, I, your servant David, heard that Saul is planning to come to Keilah to destroy it because of me. Will the people of Keilah hand me over to Saul? Will Saul really come, as I heard? O Lord, God of Israel, I ask you to answer me. Saul will come. And will the people of Keilah hand me and my men over to Saul? Yes, they will." Then David and his men, about 600, immediately left Keilah and wandered without a fixed direction. When Saul was told that David had fled from Keilah, he gave up his plan. David hid in the strongholds of the dry and mountainous desert area near Ziph. Saul kept searching for him every day. But God did not deliver David into his hands, and David was afraid because Saul had gone out to kill him. David started living in Horesh, in the desert near Ziph. Jonathan went to meet him there and gave him courage to trust in God's protection. "Do not be afraid, Saul. My father will not be able to harm you. You will be the king of Israel, and I will be second in command under you. My father knows this very well." And there, in the presence of the Lord God, the two renewed their promise of friendship. David stayed in Horesh and Jonathan returned home. Some people from Ziph went to Gibeah and said to Saul, "David is hiding in our land, in Horesh, on Mount Hachilah, south of Jerusalem. We know that the Lord really wants to capture him. Come with us, and we will hand David over to you. May the Lord bless you for being so kind to me. Go and find out again. Find out for sure where David is and who saw him there. They say he is very clever. Find out exactly the places where he hides and come back here without fail. Then I will go with you. If he is there, I will catch him, even if I have to search all over the land of Judah." So they returned to Ziph, ahead of Saul. David and his men were in the desert of Maon, in a dry valley south of Jerusalem. Saul and his soldiers went to look for David, but David found out, and went to a pass among the rocks in the desert of Maon and stayed there. When Saul heard this, he went after David. Saul and his soldiers were on one side of the hill, and David and his men on the other. They ran quickly to escape from Saul and his soldiers who were surrounding them to capture them. But at that very moment, a messenger came and said to Saul, "Return immediately. The Philistines are invading the country." Then Saul stopped chasing David and went to fight the Philistines. That is why that place is called Rock of Separation. David left and went to the protected places in the area of the spring of Jeshimon.